Hello and welcome to TVOL, where we talk about tactics and their evolution. Today we are focusing on a preview of a match happening this evening between Manchester United and Arsenal. We are going to try to make some predictions about how Manchester United are likely to approach this match from a tactical perspective. Carrick, whilst he waits for his new boss to clear customs and enter the country and get involved, has to make some big decisions. There is a lot of talk in the media about how Manchester United's tactical approach is expected to change, and indeed how Carrick might already be starting that process. I think the reality is that surely Carrick's number one priority, at least in the short term, is going to be addressing Manchester United's poor run of form, especially from a defensive point of view. What this data in front of you shows you, which is a measure of expected goals, which is about the quality of the chances the opposition are creating, is that Manchester United are conceding far too many chances, and that situation is getting worse over time. Now let's add to that chart a blue line, which is to represent expected goals for. This is a measure of the number and the quality of the goal-scoring opportunities that Manchester United have so far created against their opponents in the Premier League. You can see, in contrast to the orange line, which again is expected goals against, this measure is relatively stable. So they are doing okay in the number of quality chances that they are creating. They would like to be doing more and scoring more goals, obviously, given the quality of the forward line that they have. But as I've already said, the priority for Carrick should be defensive solidity in the game against Arsenal, and probably in the short term as well. Let's now put some of that data into context versus the rest of the teams in the league. This is a league table of expected goals conceded. Again, the quality of chances that Manchester United are conceding so far versus their opponents. They are 17th in this league table. They are performing absolutely terribly. They are conceding far too many chances. That's getting worse over time, and they are near the relegation position in this particular league table. You can see, really interestingly, Manchester City are at the top with a considerable gap versus Chelsea, and that is going to be a subject of a future analysis on this channel. Let's now dig a little deeper into Manchester United's tactical approach. What this chart is showing you is the extent to which Manchester United put pressure on the opposition when they have the ball. Pressures per opposition touch, so the extent to which they close down the opponents when they have the opportunity to do so, which of course is when the opposition has possession of the football. There's a lot of talk in the media at the moment about how Rangnick is expected to transform Manchester United's tactical approach, especially in relation to when they are out of possession. What this is showing you is that Manchester United have been, so far this season and in the seasons before that, because it's been an aspect of Solskjaer's approach, and Mourinho before that indeed, that they have been relatively passive, have defended fairly deep in a block and then looked to hit teams on the break. That is not necessarily in line with what Rangnick wants to do. What this is showing you is that he has a lot of work to do in a very short amount of time to make that transformation. Another aspect of Rangnick's preferred style of football when in possession is to get the ball forward quickly using vertical passes, often in his case short vertical passes, in order to reduce the risk of conceding possession and then being in a position to effectively counter-press. Again, what this data would show you is a lot of work to do, Mr. Rangnick, as you eventually clear customs. What this data is showing us is the extent to which Manchester United progress the ball forward in the context of the amount of possession or the number of passes that they make in a particular match. You can see that number is relatively low, but crucially has been decreasing over recent matches, probably in line with performances. But again, the point is that if you think about tactical styles, Rangnick's both out of possession, as we've seen, his expected approach in possession as we see here, with this ambition to move the ball quickly and directly forward through the thirds. Manchester United are quite considerably off that pace, and so it will be fascinating to see what he prioritises and indeed what Carrick prioritises in this evening's match. Now, this video is getting a bit doom and gloom, isn't it? So let's look on from a Manchester United perspective, the bright side for a second, and consider the amount of chances that they are creating. I have said previously that measure is relatively stable thus far in their matches in the Premier League, and they are 6th in this particular league table, which of course is a lot better than 17th. What we're going to do right now is consider of the players, many players that they have in their potential forward line, of the players available, who is likely to be creating and indeed converting those chances. One of the key questions for Carrick is who is going to play across the forward line in the match versus Arsenal. He has a lot of talent available, huge amount of debate about the role of Ronaldo. Where is Cavani? Has he gone to get his hair cut? I guess that can take quite a lot of time in his case. What role might he play if he's indeed back from the hairdressers or back from injury? What we're going to do now is play a bit of a guessing game as to who is going to make that front 3 or front 4, depending on the lineup that Carrick elects. Now, what this chart is showing us is the top 10 players. That's what those mysterious white blobs are, and we will reveal some of those players in a second in light of our guessing game that we're playing here. These are the top 10 players who have been involved in the most goal-scoring opportunities. From left to right, it's the total expected goals across all of the Premier Leagues played by Man United so far. From bottom to top, it's the expected goals per 90 minutes. So let's now put some names on some of these mysterious white blobs. The first player that we're going to reveal is Marcus Rashford. He has been out injured, so hasn't contributed a huge amount to goal-scoring chances in total, but he does have a relatively high return per match. The second one, as you can see, is Mason Greenwood, who has both contributed in absolute terms, a total number of expected goals from left to right to a high degree, and also has a reasonable return per match. We can add Cavani now to that picture if he's available, if he's back from the hairdressers and or back from injury. He has a very high return per match. Of course, hasn't played that many matches recently. And Fernandez, as we'd expect, he's, I guess, mainly known for his goal creation abilities and the extent to which he provides assists, but he has also been a regular contributor of goals. Now, who is this person to the right-hand side who is both contributing a high return of expected goals per match and also a high number of expected goals overall? It is, of course, Mr. Cristiano Ronaldo. Much debated, even maligned at times, which seems ludicrous, both given his past achievements, which aren't relevant to who plays against Arsenal tonight, but also his goal-scoring return, his movement off the ball, in possession. He doesn't do a huge amount out of possession, but as a good friend of mine often reminds me, and anyone else who will listen on our WhatsApp group, you can put this boy into any team and he will do the business. So I think, as a prediction, he is very likely to start tonight's match. And in conclusion, we're going to take a quick look at the expected lineup and the general approach that we might expect from Manchester United this evening. So how do we expect Manchester United to line up in relation to who they're going to pick to play against Arsenal and how they're going to approach it? Emphasising the defensive aspect and just making sure that they are not as easy as they have been to exploit and play through. As I've discussed, as I've tried to predict, I think Ronaldo will come into the team. I think there might be an emerging opinion that from a defensive point of view, it's not a great idea to have both Fernandez and Ronaldo in the team, although they have effectively combined at times from an attacking perspective. Manchester United will, of course, press the ball. There are very few teams who hardly ever press, but they'll do so selectively emphasizing and prioritizing defensive shape. I don't imagine anytime soon a transition, as it were, to a heavy metal Jurgen Klopp approach to pressing the counter, or counter pressing, or gegenpressing as it's known in native Germany. I don't imagine that they will move to that very quickly. I think it will be indeed a 6-month project to take the team towards that objective, of course, depending on who the new manager is going to be appointed over the summer. So those would be my predictions. Carrick emphasising defensive solidity. Might not be the most exciting match to watch, but surely the number one priority is to make Manchester United harder to play against, and then build from there. And thank you for watching this tactical preview of this evening's match between Manchester United and Arsenal. I hope it might be a bit more exciting than I might be predicting, but we will see. If you like this video, please express that by hitting the like button. Please subscribe to this channel while you're there, and we will see you next time.